Good afternoon. Today, a Prince George's County grand jury returned an indictment against Officer Tristan Thigpen on sex assault against a minor. Attorneys Musa Eubanks and John Grachowski will be prosecuting this case. John will go into the specifics of the charges.
Again, it's Grachowski. Sure. First defendant's name is Tristan. Last name is Thigpen. So the indictment was for 4 charges. He was indicted for sex abuse of a minor, 3rd-degree sex offense, 2nd-degree assault, and 4th-degree sex offense. Are there any questions regarding the charges?
What was the relationship? Is it domestic, in-house?
Sure. So we're not going to go too deep into the facts of the case. We can say that you'll see in the indictment that it was a household member who was the victim. Sure. Count 1 was sex abuse of a minor. Count 2 was 3rd-degree sex offense. Count 3 was assault in the 2nd degree. And count 4 was 4th-degree sex offense.
Did this abuse allegedly happen
We're not going to go too much into the details, but we can say that all these charges relate to one incident.
It was not.
Again, we're not going to go into too many of the details, but I can talk about the charges and what the elements are and things of that nature. If there's any questions specific to what it was. We're not going to go into that right now either.
It was a minor.
It was a minor. Yeah.
And you said that this is connected to one incident.
Correct.
Ms. Braveboy, can you talk to us about how seriously these kinds of cases,
Well, these cases are very serious. Any case involving sex abuse of a child is serious. When the allegations are made against an officer, it's particularly egregious. It's very concerning to our office. That is why when I came into office, I created a public integrity unit. Musa Eubanks is one of the attorneys in that unit who will be handling this case. Because this case involves allegations of sex abuse, our Special Victims and Family Violence Unit is also working on that case. That's why you see John Grachowski here. But we take these cases very seriously. We will prosecute this one zealously.
is there any indication that he did anything actually?
At this time, we can't get into those details. But again, as Mr. Grachowski mentioned, that this particular case is related to one incident. It came to our attention. We can't really go into that, unfortunately, but we did get this through various law enforcement agencies. Community. This happened in the Clinton area. The Clinton area.
You said this happened, you did take to your attention various law enforcement.
That's correct.
So was this the kind of deal where there were pictures found or something?
Again, we can't go into those details at this time.
Can you tell us who the lead investigative agency was?
I can't, well, yeah. Unfortunately, because of how this case developed, unfortunately, we really can't go into detail on that. I would just say that there's more than one agency involved. Would you like to run down?
Sure, absolutely. So count 1 is sex abuse of a minor. Count 2 is 3rd-degree sex offense. Count 3 is assault in the 2nd degree. And count 4 is 4th-degree sex offense. The top 2 counts are felonies.
And do you want to talk about how
What
much
are the
time?
potential penalties?
So, count one holds a maximum sentence of 25 years with a lifetime sex offender registration. Count two holds a maximum of 10 years with a 25-year sex offender registration. Count three, assault in the second degree, has a 10-year maximum sentence. And count four, fourth degree sex offense, has a 1-year maximum penalty and a 15-year sex offender registration. He's not. It's actually because the way the charges are, counts 3 and 4 would actually be rolled into count 2. However, count 1 and count 2 would not be rolled together. So if he was found guilty of all, he could only be sentenced if they stacked 1 and 2. So it would be 35 years maximum penalty.
So we did make the Prince George's County Police Department aware of the indictment. So their usual protocol is to suspend the officer pending the results of the trial. So I assume that they'll be doing that in this case, but you can certainly contact them. I don't know what their protocol is once an officer is indicted. I think if officers in charge, they're on one status, and then if they're indicted, I'm not sure what they would do in those cases, but you can certainly contact them. We don't know if there are other victims, but certainly through the reporting on this case, if there are other victims, we certainly encourage them to come forward. We will investigate their cases, and we will take the appropriate action. But again, my message to the community is there's only one set of laws, and it applies to both civilians and officers. And when officers violate laws, my job, my duty, my role is to hold them accountable. And we're doing that in this case as we've done in other cases. And we will continue to hold everyone in our county accountable for their actions.
Any history of behavioral issues with this officer?
I can't go into that at this time. They are aware. They were aware of the charges. They are one of the agencies that participated in the investigation.
How long, can you tell us how long this investigation has been going on?
It's been going on for a little.
I believe it began in July.
Yeah, it began earlier this year.
And how soon was it when you guys found out about the allegation that you started the investigation?
Oh, as soon as we found out about it, we started it immediately. And that's what we do in these types of cases. As soon as we hear about an allegation, our public integrity unit begins the investigation, and we'll pull in another unit if it's their specialty, like special victims and family violence. We pull them into this case.
So Officer Thigpen continued on the street for some period of time while you were investigating?
That's a better question for the Prince George's County Police Department.
Okay. To change the subject,
Sure.
settlement that happened in the lawsuit yesterday, can you speak just a little bit from your office's perspective of how that can impact the case going forward as well as go to investigation?
Sure. Well, that was a resolution in the civil case. That was a civil matter. Our office is prosecuting the criminal case. And so the resolution of the civil case does not impact our criminal case.
I would imagine that it's going to play a part in the trial. Can you speak to that? Or is it, or will it not?
From our perspective, that was a settlement between parties that did not involve the defendant. So our case, our criminal case, involves the defendant as well. Obviously, we'll have multiple witnesses. So I would say that I don't know what role it would play. I would say very little at this time.
The county executive was speaking yesterday about transparency and the idea that being as transparent as possible with the public about that settlement was important to her. There have been protests and questions about what's going on in the ongoing
Sure.
What's your take on that?
You know, my take on it is, and as you know, I stood here a few months ago and said, look, you know, our office, the state's attorney's office, needs to have access to internal affairs records. We need to be able to evaluate officers because we're trying cases brought to us by those officers. So when we do have cases now, we've really changed our protocol. We're asking for internal affairs files for officers in cases where they're serving as witnesses so that we understand what background they have. We turn over any discoverable information to the defense counsel. It is our role, it is our responsibility, but we need greater access. I've constantly said that, and those demands will continue because I think it is in the best interest of the public that we be as transparent as possible, that the state's attorney's office has a very sacred and very important role in this community, again, to hold everyone accountable and to bring forth cases that we can stand behind and have witnesses who are testifying on behalf of the state who we can stand behind. And so it's really important to us that we have full access. We're getting greater access, but we will continue to demand full access. Thank you. Say it again. At some point, I'm sure it will be through the Department of Corrections. So I think Denise can put you in contact with those individuals. Okay. All right. Thank you.